Welcome again, everyone. Jerry's Old Guy Review and some new stuff. So I'm going to tell you right now, we've got some new stuff coming up on the channel. 3 new vehicles, as a matter of fact. Well, 2 of them aren't quite new. They just became in my price range. But I'm going to tell you, after building Ron Phoenix, actually, I'm thinking of something, so let's look at Ron Phoenix real quick. Okay. Doop. Yep, okay. We'll get to that. So, unlike the RTRs, Ron Phoenix was the first of the straight axles in a build kit, and I did all the doodads on that truck. Well, then the Phoenix came out and ready to run, and I said, well, I don't need the ready to run, but I really want that radio because it's the BFD twin with all the doodads, and I wanted to use them. Well, guess what Vanquish did? They made another ready to run. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over the interwebs the past week. The Vanquish VS410 Fordyce. Now I'm going to tell you, when I first was trying to find pictures of the Vanquish Fordyce, I know they are saying that this is the most challenging trail in California for a full-size vehicle, but it's also a skin disease. I might have did a little Google searching before I named my truck after something in California and a skin disease. So, that being said, let me tell you, there has never been anyone on the internet who has constantly talked bad about Vanquish when they first came out. Because, I've got a few rigs, but none of them cost $700 to $800, and then I had to put all my electronics in it. Well, for all that aluminum, and now seeing, after I built one, Vanquish engineering is off the chart. Before I built a Vanquish kit, the only other kit that I had completely filled me with respect for the engineering and the build was the MST CFXW, I think is what it's called. This truck, the build and the design of it was just fabulous, but not even close to the same price range. But I really, as I've gotten older, I really appreciate engineering. Vanquish, without the aluminum, their vehicles are still very capable. And the thing I will point out the best, the Phoenix is a retro updated version of an FJ45. The bed's wrong, but other than that, unlike the FJ Cruiser that Toyota came out with, you couldn't ask for better engineering. Vanquish engineers, whoever designed that body. And it was an FJ45. And I wanted to build it. That truck is phenomenal. But it does have its faults. While I am going to probably release this video before my video on the crawling event I went to, that truck, as it sat, very good. But the ass is too light, allowing the truck, eye candy, to, want to roll over. So I'm working on that. Wow, have you not seen me in 5 minutes? I know. I am delicious. Okay, stop. It constantly wanted to roll over going down inclines, which kind of negates, I think, not negates it totally, but the overdrive. When the front end slows down going on a steep decline, the ass end is too fast and it wants to flip it. So, working on correcting that issue with Ron Phoenix. Have some ideas, have some things. I will show you said things. Now, this Vanquish Fordyce, I instantly, being I'm old, being that I owned a 1950s, basically a suburban version, I instantly saw a Willys pickup truck. And the first time I saw a spy shot of this, I wanted it. Just because of, again, a beautiful, modern interpretation of a classic truck. Now, I had a 1950s Willys wagon, which was the SUV style. This is more of a 1940s, late 1940, early 50s pickup truck. Now, while on the Phoenix, the bed isn't right. On the Fordyce, the bed is perfect for what a 1940s Willys pickup truck looked like. Very similar. Excellent. The windshield, the cab, while bigger than the normal one, once again, excellent. The grill, while not quite correct, so to avoid any copyrights with Dodge, who owns the name of what used to be a great vehicle, this grill, a lot of the 40s just plain Jane trucks had 10 slots in it. The fancier one, like in the 50s, my Willys wagon had 8. And then it had 3 chrome pieces over it. But it's triangular, like it should be. And, it looks a little too Wranglerish for me up front. But you know me, we're going to strip this baby down. And it is going to get all kinds of detailing. But let's talk about the fact that, didn't we just come out with a Phoenix? Why do we need another one? Well, in case you haven't watched the numerous videos that are already out, there are quite a few differences. Number one being, it's 75 degrees out. Why is the heater just come on? Must see my water's a little cool. So, on the Phoenix, you've got in the back area, you've got a fuel tank cover here. This is all wide open in the back. The same cage, so of course, we're taking this out and detailing it up. But most everything back here is the same. Same rear bumper, same rear tail lights. But the front is where the action lies. So, while the Phoenix has the VFD twin transmission in it, those bolts are too long. I'm gonna have to replace those. This transmission is just the straight VFD. The only thing it has on it is dig, which they said you could hook it up, but the transmission's hard on both sides. So I'm assuming in the goodie bag, there's probably the bits to still use the dig. So no extra doodads in here, except for the fact that you've got their electronics in it. You've got a 35 turn Vanquish motor. You've got their receiver. What are those called? What is the transmitter, or what's the receiver called? Huh. Just the VR1, I guess. Oh, Vanquish receiver 1. VM35 Vanquish motor. Good job, Vanquish. I know you love your logo. And nothing wrong with it. You've converted me. So, for the price point of this vehicle, is that Velcro? Nope. A little splooge of two-sided tape. Okay. The speed control is a rebranded Hobbywing 1060. I'm probably going to put a 1080 in there. And for the price point, I would have probably paid a few bucks more just to have the 1080. So, you know, it's bare bones, but the control is not the same. But meanwhile, everything else is the same. You've got your headlight mounts, you've got your front rock lights, nothing for the rear. They do sell an aftermarket kit to put fenders in there. That's about it under the hood. Well, what do they got? A 200-ounce torque steering servo. You also got the plate in there to put a steering or a servo winch in there. Okay, that clicks down a little better than the VS410 Phoenix. You've got the KMC wheels, which are not the screwy ones this time. You've got the nut right there. You've still got the great F10. Is that what those axles? The F10 axles. You've still got the great steering radius on them. You've still got aluminum axles or aluminum shocks. The links are a little bit thinner. Let me look at my bottom ones. Okay, the bottom ones look the same. The top links are thinner, along with the connecting link and the panhard mounts. Those are thin, but meanwhile you still have a metal servo axle or servo arm. And it's going to be this. Oh, you got these Falcon Wild Peaks on there, which, man, are they sticky. You know, Ron Phoenix came with their stock wheels, which kind of sucked. But other than the fact of detailing, I bought this truck, which some of you may think it's dumb, but I wanted this radio. So I'm not a big fan, as most of you will know, of these technological doodads. Well, I thought this was going to be more knobs and trims, and it has got nothing but buttons on it. So that's going to be interesting. But meanwhile, for those of us who like to film and drive, that's pretty nice. But what I'm going to do with this is, this has a possibility of 3 channels. Ron Phoenix is decked out for 4 channels. So I'm going to swap this radio into Ron. Ron Spectrum is coming in to this. Now, I also bought some SSD VS10 straight axle weights. So I've got rear ones, which are SSD 00556. That is the rears. The fronts, brass knuckles, are SSD 00570. And these suckers are heavy. So I'm putting them both on Ron and the Fordyce. We're going to have to maybe come up with a different name for it. And I'm going to put some weight in the fuel tank. And we're going to see how they perform. So we're going to come back to this truck after I've detailed it and we've got it going. I am now looking at projects for the winter. It is almost September. This truck I'm going to be tinkering with. Ron's getting tinkered with. And I don't know, there may be some other stuff coming on the channel. So stay tuned and I will let you in on the secret. Talk to you later.